great idea to have this team building exercise, and she chose my day off to do it, and I'm the only one that's off on Wednesdays, so I have to go in on my day off. And learn to communicate effectively with my coworkers. Yay me. So I wanted to check in about applying for other positions and other employment and interviews that I've had. I have been looking and applying for other jobs with other companies for about 2 months, probably around 2 months. And I've interviewed at a few places and nothing has felt completely right, and I haven't gotten anything, which is totally okay. I am learning from this experience, however, that the job that I have right now is culturally just, I want to say, already good for me. The position I have, I'm already really good at, and that maybe the position that I'm looking for outside of the one I have doesn't exist, and maybe I need to create that position and possibly even create those positions for other people like me when searching for employment, so that they can be available for them. And I say that because with all of the experience, work experience, life experience, and education experience that I have, I don't really fit into a mold that's already out there. I don't fit into the child care center situation with all the crisis and mental health experience I have, although I could do it. And I don't really fit completely into just strictly mental health because I'm not a licensed therapist, or the medical mental health because I'm not a licensed RN, and I'm not a licensed social worker. So I don't really fit completely into the social work category when it comes to getting higher positions. My master's is in developmental psychology and child and adolescent development, and my career experience is in child care and in mental health and crisis situations, right? So where I'm at right now, my experience is perfect. It works. The only issue with where I'm at right now is unless I help the tribe develop more programs, I'm not going to be using all of my skills, and I'm not going to be expressing my truest self, right? I'll just feel kind of stuck in a little corner doing my thing, and that will not satisfy my soul. It's already not satisfying my soul completely. It's not, to me, it's not about being good at what I do. It's about creating more and contributing to society in a larger picture. I see the big picture. I want to contribute to it. You know, I see the gaps in where things can be better, and I want to help fix or fill those gaps. The other thing is I've been interviewing with places, and it's so weird. It's like I feel and know what the people interviewing me are feeling and thinking about me. And I can take this in several different ways. I can take this through the mirror perspective, right? Oh, are they just thinking what I think they're thinking based off of what I think about myself? Or am I just so in tuned that I feel their energy and know what they're thinking, right? You can see it both ways. And the first way, nah, that's not it. That's not how I feel about myself. And I say that because the most recent interview that I had and the previous one, and possibly the one before that, like all of the interviews that I've had 4 of them, okay? And each time I answer their questions, I can tell that I'm not answering the questions the way that they would like me to, but also I'm not answering the questions the way everyone else does, and it's challenging them, right? I've even, not to be arrogant, but just to point out some of the questions that they have asked aren't worded very well. They're a little confusing, and I've pointed that out to them. And so I feel like I'm at a stage where I need to be creating something instead of being judged, right? I guess that's how I feel. Every time I'm going through an interview, I'm being judged. They're just judging me, right? Instead of actually getting to know me, getting to know my story and how I could be a good fit that way, the questions have been just very long. Okay, let's just put it that way, very long. But the answers that they want from me don't come from a place of love and empathy and compassion and understanding. They want me to just answer very logically, which I could totally do, but I haven't been, because that's not me, right? And so in this last interview, they asked a question, like, and they told me, okay, at the very beginning, they're like, okay, we're going to ask you these questions, but we want you to answer as if we have never seen your resume. We don't know your background. We know nothing about you. And I'm like, okay, well then, wow. And so that means I have to explain a lot more about me if you want me to pretend that you haven't even seen my fucking resume, right? But that's not actually what they wanted. So I don't know why they said that. Because I answered that first and second question and the third question as if they did not know me and had never seen my resume. And then by the fourth question, the woman said, hey, so we got an hour and we're on the fourth question and we have 12 questions and we're already a half an hour in. So we need you to like speed up your answers. I'm like, oh, okay. So you don't want me to answer the question like you don't know me, you know, like what the fuck do you want from me, you know? And in one of the questions and in the position, most of the positions I've been applying for have been to work with the minority and low income communities, right? And one of the questions was, how do I feel like I'm going to work with that community, right? And mind you, and I didn't say this, and I wish I would have said this because I didn't get the job anyways. I should have fucking said it. But there's like 3 old white women asking me how I'm going to work with my own fucking community. You know, like I was just so irritated. And I answered the question, but I answered it like telling them, I am the community. You know, I grew up in that community. I grew up as that poor, low-income child that you want me to work with. You know, I can relate to them, and not only that, I look like them. You know, I have colored hair, I have tattoos, I have piercings. When I walk into the door, they tell me they don't feel judged. I'm not your average person that walks in the door, which is your old white woman or old white man that walks into the door and then they feel judged. You know, like I am them, you know, and I know they didn't like that answer. And then another question they asked was, what was my vision for the position? And I was like, well, I don't even know that much about your company. First of all, I'd have to know what your vision and mission is, because I would have to. It doesn't matter what my vision is, because I have to do the job. I have to do your vision, you know? And if I had a vision for this position in this company, it would definitely be flexible and moldable and, you know, open for improvement. I've like every vision should be, because if you're not flexible, then you might as well be like Hitler, you know, like he had a vision and he wasn't flexible, you know, and they didn't like that answer either. Like, so I could tell that immediately. Actually, what I could tell most of all when I finished that interview is that I did not want to work with them. You know, they were not the right fit for me. And I knew that I wasn't going to get the job. Let's just put it that way. But that also frustrates me, because it was for a position working with Snohomish County, and I feel like they should have minorities on their panel of people interviewing minorities, you know, or people that are going to work with low-income minority populations. Like, don't do that. Don't be like that, you know, like they can't possibly understand my answers because they're not a part of that community that they're trying to serve. There's a big disconnection right there. And because that bothers me so much, I feel like there's something I need to do right there. Like, I'm on the verge of like writing Snohomish County an email and asking them to include the minority demographic in their interview panel. Like, don't just include old white women in interviewing. And if there are just a bunch of old white men and women in these positions, then change that. Fucking change it if you want to serve the low-income minority community. And even if it were just a low-income non-minority community, which honestly in America it's not like that. Most low-income people in these communities are minorities, okay? That's just the fact. So they need to cater to that. You know, it's like colonization all over again. You know, that's the first thing that comes to mind. It's like, okay, here come these old white educated people trying to tell low-income minority people what to do again, you know, and of course they're not gonna see where they can improve because they're already the best, right? Like, so with all that said, it's really helped me take a look at what I do in my position from a different perspective. What I do, I enjoy doing, okay? I'm good at what I do, and I can relate to the people that I work with. How could I continue to do something like this in a higher position, or create more positions like this to train other people to be more culturally appropriate and to work with the minority low-income demographic, but in like, and to also hire and interview, like how can I help contribute to that? That's the gap. That's what needs to be changed. And this may not be the same everywhere, okay? It's probably not the same in California, where they actually teach people how to be culturally appropriate. And they really don't need to teach them that much because there's mostly minorities there. And it might not be like this in fucking New York or other countries, but it is definitely like this in Washington State, and definitely in Snohomish County, because there are majority of just white people. Honestly, there's natives, there's other colors and races, but in higher positions, no, there isn't, okay? The more north you get towards Canada in Washington State, the wider it gets. It's just how it is. And the less minority resources you're gonna come across. You have to go to King County for that shit, or Pierce County. You gotta go south. It's not up here. And it's not like those businesses are coming up here. You know, they have their county they're working for, which is really tough if you're low income. You can't really get down there. It's really expensive here too. So I just wanted to talk about my looking for other employment experience and how it's evolved and changed rapidly yeah, so that's where I'm at. Still at my job, and I'll probably just stay here. Honestly, unless I find something better, I'll just stay here until I create something. I'm okay with that. I'm not like in a rush. You know, there's no pressure. Yeah.